All right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chris Lindenberger with the Texas Homeless Network, and today I bring you our monthly Bloc Talk webinar. So for the month of March, and you'll have to excuse me today. I'm kind of a one-man show here at the office. We have a conference that's running at the same time in South Austin, and so it's just me here running the entire webinar. I'm going to try to get to all your feedback and all your questions as quickly as possible, but I don't actually have anybody here at the office assisting me at this time. However, with that said, I don't envision any issues. Everything is going to go smooth, and actually it should be better than ever. So just welcome to this month's webinar. So as you know, I like to start out every month with a little meme, and I looked around hard for this one, but you know, this one was you had one job, March, one job, and you know, kind of here in the state of Texas, it's been kind of a chilly month, actually. You know, just 30 days ago, it seemed like we were still getting freezing weather, and just as of last weekend or so, it was still pretty chilly. So right now, you know, it is a beautiful week in Austin, and we are very happy about that. However, I know that we're getting ready for another cold front to come through this weekend, especially up in Dallas and up in the Panhandle in that area. So you guys brace yourself for another March cold front, actually March and April cold front coming through, and we'll make it through this together. I promise you that. So the agenda today is similar to that of every month. I will briefly go through housekeeping and any announcements that we have at THN as an agency. Then we will move on to our presentation. Our presentation for this month of March is around the Supervised Independent Living Programs for young adults. So we are bringing you some experts in that field to talk about these programs so that we can fill your head with knowledge. And so if you have any questions around these type of programs or how to bring these programs to your area throughout the state of Texas, they can answer those questions for you. Though, of course, those questions will come in our question and answer time. So once again, we will have a good swath of time for that, probably about 10 minutes, so that you can post your questions and I can get those out to our individuals, to our experts that will be here talking with you today. And then we'll close that out and do, I'll send out actually in a follow-up. So typically about a week from today, I'll send out a follow-up which will have this entire presentation recorded and on YouTube along with the slides. I'll also send out the presentation from our presenters to you guys as well, so you can go over that information. At the same time, I'll make sure that you have the my email contact information as well as the presenter's contact information, so that if you have any questions anytime, you can feel free to ask any one of us. So for our housekeeping, same as usual, your microphone will be muted during the webinar. This is not because we don't want to hear from you, but due to the fact that if everybody's microphone was turned on, we would get a ton of feedback, and then it is not a pleasant webinar for everybody because I'm trying to talk over people and all kind of crazy things are happening. So everybody will be muted, and then because of that, because you are muted, we cannot hear you speak, of course. So during the webinar, if you have any questions at any time over what is being presented or to me in general, or if you can't hear a presenter, or if you just have anything that comes up, you can go to the tab that this arrow is pointing to. So this tab is located in the Citrix toolbar that's to the right of your screen, or should be to the right of your screen. You can just go underneath questions, and you can post any questions to the presenters, or if you have any feedback to give me specifically. So feel free to do that at any point in time. What I will do is, instead of interrupting our experts to have them address those questions, I will save that till we actually get to the question and answer time. So I will kind of stack those up and save those, and then when we have the question and answering time, I will put forth those questions. So when you do fill out a question, if you could put to which presenter this is addressed to, and then what is your question. Also, once again, we are recording this webinar, as we do with all of our monthly webinars, and we've been doing this for over a year now. So we have plenty of webinars up on our YouTube channel that you can feel free to go back and listen to at any point in time. And, this will be up there sometime next week, and we'll get it up there, and then make sure you get a link to this webinar. So a little more information about the monthly Bloc Talks if you are new to us. So we as an agency, Texas Homeless Network, provide this community opportunity to learn how to more effectively serve your homeless population through helping you explore successful practices in housing, mental health, and education. These are this monthly webinar series. We seek to bring you guest speakers which can talk firsthand about the practices they either are that they are implementing every day, or that they help to implement through maybe administrative action or so. And more importantly, we have those individuals here today so that, and in all of our Bloc Talks, so that you can ask them your questions on a first-hand basis. So this today's session will be the usual, about 20 minutes per presentation. We have 2 presentations and then about a 15-minute Q&A. That might actually go a little short. It might do 10 to 15 minutes per presentation. Just depends on how much time we have. So I don't want to rush our presenters. I want to give them enough time, and so we have a good swath of time that we can use for that. And so this month again, we are going to be focusing on S.I.L. Supervised Independent Living Programs. A little bit more about Texas Homeless Network. We, of course, are a nonprofit, membership-based organization that seeks to provide solutions to ending homelessness in Texas communities through education, resources, and advocacy. Our website link is right down below if you would like to visit that. Some of our announcements that we have, actually today, tomorrow, and Thursday, we have our yearly housing summit. This year the title is Supportive Housing Equals Healthcare. So we have approximately 150 individuals that have come in from all over the state to Austin to experience this training that we are offering them. Then in May, we will have a Case Management Institute. That invite will go out here within a couple of weeks, and that will be specifically geared to approximately about 200 case managers from around the state. That will this training will focus on HUD perspective and policy. It'll focus on proper case management techniques such as motivational interviewing, such as, well, just a slew of others. And so we will be getting that information out to you guys. And then finally, September 30th through October 2nd in Corpus Christi, we will be having our Texas Conference on Ending Homelessness, which this year is presented by Texas Homeless Network, Region 10 Education Service Center, and the Texas Homeless Education Office. So that will be in Corpus. It'll be a great time. Come out to the beach, enjoy a great 3-day conference, and spend some time, on the beach, just kind of hanging out and chilling. So that should be fun. Please feel free to join us for any of these events. Other events we have happening, of course, our monthly Bloc Talk, which is what we're doing right now, which is always the last Tuesday of every month at 2 p.m. We also have many other webinars that either are linked or that are in our library to help you kind of be in the know of what is happening around the state around homeless practices. And then you can always go to our website to receive updates for up-and-coming trainings or conferences or just whatever else is happening that we can bring you guys. So we seek to get you as much information as possible. And then finally, our address. Again, we are a membership agency, and if you would like to explore the options of membership, please you can click on this link and go to our website and look at how to become a member with Texas Homeless Network. All right, got all that out of the way. So this month we're focusing on supervised independent living programs. The first question that I have for you guys out there that I want to pose is, do you know what an independent living program is? Have you ever heard of one? So that is coming to you right now. So that'll pop up on your screen. The poll is open. If you could punch in yes or no, that would be wonderful, so we can kind of gauge your knowledge as an audience and what you know about these type of programs. All right, we're going to give you 5 more seconds to answer the question. All right. I'm about to close the poll. Get in your question or your answers. All right, closing it. So it looks like we have about 42% have answered yes, that they do know what a supervised independent living program is, and about 58% of you guys answered no. So that's really great information for us to know. And because of that, you know, you're in the right place. I am very excited to introduce our first speaker to help you, especially you 58% that don't know what a supervised independent living program is. This is so Larry Burgess with DFPS. So Larry is a CPS State Office Program Specialist for the Extended Foster Care and Services as a Supervised Independent Living or S.I.L. Coordinator. He also handles juvenile justice issues. In his current position since 2008, he has managed efforts to implement the different components of the federal and state fostering connections related legislation. So that's awesome. This has included expanding the options for extended foster care, including the development of supervised independent living placement options. His 37 years of experience in child protective service work has included serving as caseworker and supervisor in Harris County and a supervisor in Travis County. So Larry, we are delighted to have you with us here today.
Well, thank you for that introduction.
No, and I'm going to turn over screen to control to you right now.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for this opportunity to share a few words to you about our extended foster care program and our, in particular, our supervised independent living program. Basically, as you know, some youth end up aging out of our department CPS legal custody when they turn 18. These are youth who we were not able to have returned home or to find some other permanent placement. And so a certain number of youth every year turn 18 when our legal custody ends. And so we have this program called Extended Foster Care that allows youth to stay in care longer if they want. And one form of that is supervised independent living. The premise for extended foster care is that, let me get this off your screen, is that, you know, there are some youth, as they turn 18, they're really not, they feel like they're not fully ready to be out there on their own and want to stay to complete transition plan goals. The extended foster care program that we have is voluntary, that they can leave any time because they are young adults now, and but it's a voluntary program that does allow them to continue in their placements and continue working on their transition plan goals with continued supervision. But we do have the young adults sign a voluntary agreement where they, you know, confirm these intentions. Let's see. Now, the big piece, Texas has always has had an extended foster care program since the early 2000s, but it was at state expense and was fairly limited in some areas to primarily education kinds of things and some vocational activities. But on the federal level, they realized that a lot of folks leaving care were not properly prepared or ready. And so as part of the massive federal fostering connections legislation, they had a part in there for extended foster care. And for the first time, the feds began paying for extended foster care. And so along with that, they offered a wide range of ways that people could qualify for extended foster care. And along with that, one of the options for extended foster care included having supervised independent living settings. Again, that these would be for young adults 18 and over, still in CPS placement responsibility. And so with the federal fostering connections legislation, folks could be in high school, they could be attending an institution of higher learning or post-secondary training. They could be participating in a program or activity that promotes or removes barriers to employment. They could be working at least 80 hours a month or be incapable of performing these activities due to a documented medical condition. And they could stay until the month they turn 21 if necessary. Texas previously has had legislation that does allow young folks to stay in, if they are still in high school, up until the month that they turn 22. And so that's why you see it broken out separately here. Okay, at any given time, we have approximately 660 to 700 young adults in our extended foster care program, which can include placements in foster homes, group care facilities, residential treatment centers, or RTCs, shelters, or in programs or in other kinds of programs, particularly those run by other agencies that are still considered a foster care setting. And these also include our supervised independent living settings as well. But this gives you a snapshot of our numbers as of the end of February. Now, along with the federal options under the Fostering Connections legislation, they said that states could have supervised independent living settings, that they did not have to be licensed, that the safety protocols had to be followed. And in part, they knew that some young adults do not want necessarily the traditional extended foster care settings where they're continuing in placements with younger kids and where licensing rules and regulations do apply. Some young adults really want more responsibilities and a chance to manage their situations, but still want some continued agency supervision. And we know in our system that it can be difficult to find placements for young adults wanting to stay for foster care. Not all the foster care providers feel equipped to serve the older population. And so this can be a problem when placements break down. And then some young adults, as they turn 18, do opt to leave even though they're not ready, but because they really don't want to stay in the traditional foster care settings. We found that the new S.I.L.P program does allow young adults to have more age-appropriate housing options, such as apartments, shared housing, etc. They get to be treated as adults, not children. They have responsibilities more clearly outlined to the things that they have to do and do for themselves. They're more involved in decision-making. They have more opportunities to fail or succeed. They are helped to learn community resources, and folks have to get permissions from them as young adults for things. In the Texas model, we decided to solicit providers who then would offer these different types of SIL placements. And so we do use the request for proposal procurement process to obtain providers who really want to offer the SIL placements. Our SIL program is run by the contracts, not by licensing regulations. Young adults can come and go as needed to work on education or employment-related goals. They don't have 24-hour supervision like in the traditional foster care settings. Young adults receive a pass-through amount of funds each month to meet certain agreed-upon items such as groceries, cleaning supplies, personal supplies, so that they have a chance to practice budgeting. And again, that they're helped to use community resources for things. Young adults get to schedule and make their own appointments and make their own transportation arrangements. And we do use a cell phone in this process, which we found to have been very helpful in this. In Texas, we started our SIL placements in May of 2013 with 2 contracted providers, added a third one that in August of 2013, and currently we have 72 young adults in SIL placements with 9 contracted providers serving 5 regions here in the state. And what we're finding is that on an average, they tend to be staying in these placements about 5 months. It's kind of a general average. And so with that, I'm going to point you to our website where we have information on our extended foster care program, on our SIL program, including a description of our providers, as well as the links to our transitional living services and Texas Youth Connection. Okay, and with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks, Larry. And just as a reminder, if you have any questions for Larry, go ahead and present them or put them into the questions tab on your GoToWebinar tool thingy over on the right, toolbar on the right. And then as you guys are doing that, I'm going to ask another poll question. Make sure you're not sleeping. So, so this is a true or false question. So taken from Larry's information, some young adults in care want more responsibilities in managing their situations but still want continued agency supervision. True or false? So I'm going to put that out there for you. It is launched, so you should see that on your screen now. Go ahead and true or false it. A little bit of a trick question for you there. So, well, it looks like everybody answered true, so that is great. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll down. Yes, so young adults do seek to have more responsibilities and manage their own situation, as we know. And of course, you know, when we were that age as well, we wanted the same privileges. So that is very key into understanding this population. So just a reminder, keep posting your questions. I'm going to compile those, and we will ask those here in just a few minutes. So next we have Stephanie Telecki. I'm probably saying that wrong, Stephanie. I'm sorry. And Stephanie, I'm unmuting you now. And so Stephanie,
you said it right.
Oh, did I say that right? Awesome. So Stephanie is the transitional living caseworker for the Be Real Supervised Independent Living Program in Austin. Stephanie started this position in February of 2015 after completing her master's in social work at Texas State University. Awesome college. She has experience working with Child Protective Services foster children with autism and other developmental delays, as well as pregnant and parenting teenagers. So it sounds like a perfect fit for that position. So Stephanie, I am going to hand over the presentation to you now. So there you go, Stephanie. You have screen control at this time.
Okay, so first I just want to thank you so much for having me. I am working for Lutheran Social Services, which is one of the providers for a Supervised Independent Living Program. Our program is actually called Be Real Austin. On the last slide you see that at the bottom it says the new LSS.org, because LSS is actually changing its name. We will still be called Be Real though, but if you see another name in the extremely near future, just know that it's still us. I just want to talk a little bit about our program. I mean, a lot of this, it's going to be pretty much the same, like eligibility requirements and things that Larry had mentioned. And then I just want to kind of give you a little bit better idea of kind of what it really looks like and some of the benefits that the kids get out of it, or the young adults, sorry. So this program is to support young adults aging out of foster care. It really gives them a chance to transition, you know, to independent adults. We pretty much work with them monthly about what their goals are. They make their own goals and they reach their own goals. We kind of just keep it organized for them. We write it down. We just kind of, they make their own deadlines and we kind of check back with them and things like that. This is a non-traditional, least restrictive environment. These kids or young adults live in their own apartments. They're able to come and go as they please. I'm sure that y'all have heard about a recent bill that's being heard where children in foster care are trying to change the rules a little bit so that they don't have as much restriction on them in their foster homes. So this is really, when they turn 18, they get that solution. They're able to go over to their friends' houses. They're able to have people come sleep over if they want. They really have much more independence in their decision making. So I kind of covered the next one. Like I said, we provide case management. I am the case manager. I kind of talked about what we do. So they are setting goals for different things. We talk about their housing goals for the future, their employment goals for the future, their educational goals, and then also their independent living skills. And so what we do is we do an assessment when they first move in, and they kind of decide what skills they want to work on. We have a lot of different opportunities. For example, a lot of them want to work on their cooking skills. A lot of young adults come out of like shelters where someone cooks for them, so they have really minimal cooking skills. So we are having a class on Monday that teaches them how to cook a certain meal, and they get to sit down together and eat the meal, and they talk about just food safety and things like that. Another thing we focus on is like budgeting, so we'll have a budgeting class. Sexual health, different things, whatever they decide, and then we kind of just try to set up like a class or a learning opportunity for them. These young adults do live on their own. Some of them do have roommates that are also in extended foster care. So the eligibility requirements, like I said, are going to be a lot like what Larry explained already. So all of the young adults in our program are either in school or working, or a combination of both. They do have requirements, 80 hours a month, and then they just have to like turn in their pay stubs or just show us that they're enrolled in their classes and send their grades and things like that, just to prove that they're doing what they need to be doing. Down here on this slide you can actually see pictures of the apartments. They're in Austin. Some of them are on Riverside. One's on 183 and MLK. So we place them in the apartments that are close to their school or to their work or whatever is convenient for their lives. We do provide assistance for food, clothing, transportation. Their cell phones, they have to have a cell phone in order to be in the program. Most of the furniture is supplied for them, but a lot of them come with some furniture, but we have donations from the community that we can furnish their apartments with, as well as like pots and pans and things like that that they need for their house. We are working on a mentor program for them. That's kind of still in the works, but it's coming up. It's coming up. So I kind of talked about some of the services, but really what the young adults get out of it, they get transition planning. We kind of help them identifying their goals and reaching them. They do get free rent and utilities. They get a stipend that comes from the contract that we have with DFPS. A furnished apartment, and then we have an emergency assistance fund that can be for maybe their car broke down or they don't have money to pay their cell phone bill or just different things depending on each individual's needs. We do offer a clothing stipend and then case management. I kind of talked about some of the classes, cooking classes, budgeting, and other life skills. And then sometimes we just kind of have to get in their apartment with them and kind of help them out with some things like cleaning or hanging shower curtains and things like that. So we are funded primarily through DFPS with a contract, an S.I.L. contract, and they provide foster care reimbursement funds. And then we have a deal, or I don't know if I would call it a deal, but with the apartment complex, they provide deeply discounted rates for us for our young adults. And then also we get some grants, and then like I said, the donations, a lot of donations. We were just recently part of Amplify Austin, and we got a lot of donations from that too. This is a video that we made actually for Amplify Austin. So it just kind of, you get to meet some of our young adults that are in our program, and then we just kind of talk about our goals and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. You might want to turn your volume up because when the young adults start talking, they're quiet. So you're going to turn your volume up.
Hi, my name is Jamisha. And this is foster care at the age of 8 going on 9. I've been in about 10 to 15 places. I entered foster care at the age of 10. It's really hard. I've been in 7 different placements in Central Texas. My foster experience at first was pretty rocky. I was just a really angry kid and wasn't making the right decisions. My foster care experience was really hard. It was rough on me and my siblings. There was a lot of people that was just there for the money, and it was not that great. When you're in foster care, you expect people to care for you like your family did. Anxieties that I had about turning 18 were just like the fear of failure. I just didn't want to fail after I left my foster home because I knew set up for success and had a great support group around me, and I just didn't want to let anybody down. When I turned 18, it was terrible. My anxieties were aging out of foster care. I was ready to age out. I was ready to leave the system because nobody really cared for me in the system. The Bureau program is a great opportunity for me because I live in a one-bedroom apartment that has allowed me to grow my independent living skills such as cleaning, cooking for myself, doing my own laundry, and finding my own transportation. Entering the Bureau program was an amazing opportunity for me because it gave me somewhere to go and call my own and be able to do things on my own and be my own person. My long-term goals after the program are to eventually, after I finish school, to go ahead and go into law school. My long-term goals are to graduate college, become a CPS worker so I can help the kids like me and be able to give them the voice that they never had. I want to give other kids a chance to have somebody say that they know how you feel and actually know how you feel. I feel like my future's pretty bright. I feel like I have the tools right now to be set up for success. My future, in my opinion, I think is going to be pretty cool. I now have some people in my life that are very helpful and that are always there for me whenever I need them. Hi, I'm Stephanie Slucky, and I'm the Be Real Case Manager. Hi, I'm Sarah Crocker, and I'm the Program Director for the Be Real Austin program. Be Real strives for young adults to graduate from the program and transition to complete independence while in safe and stable housing. Be Real Austin is one of the first supervised independent living programs in the city of Austin to support young adults aging out of the foster care system. They face tremendous challenges. Homelessness, incarceration, unplanned pregnancy, and substance abuse are exceptionally high for this population, recreating the circumstances for a life of poverty and abuse, which most of them experience as children. This is a time where these young adults can identify and accomplish their individual goals for their career, their families, and their education. If it wasn't for the Be Real program, I'd probably be homeless or on the street, so thank you.
Okay, so that was our video, and these are our contacts, the program director, Sarah Crocker, and then myself. And that's pretty much it for the slideshow. I do just kind of want to talk about kind of what happens when the kids turn 21. One thing is that when the children or when the young adults are in our program, we encourage them to save at least 10% of their income, so that when they're ready to leave, they have money saved up so they can get their own apartment. And so when they're here, they actually sign a lease, and so they actually get rental history. So if they move in when they're 18 and out when they're 21, they have 3 years of rental history. So if they go rent somewhere else, it just looks like they had an apartment and, you know, paid their rent on time. So it really kind of sets them up for, you know, the biggest hurdle, which is finding a cosigner. It's kind of hard to find a cosigner when you don't necessarily have that kind of relationship with other people. And then another thing, some of our young adults are saving up to buy their own house. Some of them may apply for like Habitat for Humanity. Some of them rent houses and things like that. Another opportunity that we have is if they, you know, are doing well on their program and want to continue renting their apartment, the landlords here have agreed to continue renting to them at the discounted rate. So that would kind of give them an even more of a smoother transition into having their own apartment. I don't think I have anything else, I guess, if you want to do questions.
All right, thank you so much, Stephanie. I'm going to turn back the grab the screen again. So thanks so much. And so now that Stephanie's done her part of the presentation, we have another poll question for you guys. So the poll is another true/false. According to the information that Stephanie gave, one requirement for residents of the S.I.L.I. program she was referring to is that the youth must be employed at least 80 hours per month. So let me put that out there to you guys. All right, you can mark true or false. It's not a trick question. This information was there. So give you guys a couple more seconds. I know I'm rushing you. For you guys that like to ponder the information a little bit longer. So so I'm going to close down the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I have 75% is true, 25% is false. Actually, it was true. One of the many qualifications that Stephanie talked about was this qualification that a youth needed to work at least 80 hours per month, which seems like a pretty reasonable rate. And so we are going to move on to our question and answer portion. And before we do that, before I get to your questions, and maybe as you are typing in the question you're thinking of, Stephanie, I just had a couple of quick questions for you. First of all, can you kind of describe maybe a typical day from your perspective that happens there at the S.I.L., possibly at one of those apartment complexes? Is that possible?
Do you mean like for the staff or for
Yeah,
the young?
just kind of from the staff perspective, how much they're involved with the youth. If they're meeting with them. I'm just wondering what I'm trying to get to is how much supervision is in the Supervised Independent Living Program.
So we're required to meet with them once a month, and we meet with them absolutely way more than that. Some of them we see every single day. Some of them we see, as little as twice a month. But it just really depends on the individual. Some just need more support than others, and so we really just base it on each individual.
Oh, I think I might have just lost you.
I'm still here.
Okay, so you base upon each individual. Okay, great, awesome. And somebody did just respond to that last question that I put out there, that the 80 hours of employment, was that a combination of employment and education? Is that correct?
It's most of our residents are both employed and working, and going to school. But yeah, the requirement is that they're working at least 80 hours a week or in school,
okay,
full time, or working towards a career.
Okay, so 80 hours a month or school full-time or something towards a career. Great. Okay, wonderful. So I have a couple of other questions that have popped in. I believe these are for Larry, for either one of you. The first one is there any data on those individuals that drop out of the S.I.L.s? Larry, you mentioned that 5-month average stay. What happens to a youth after that? Do we have any data on those two pieces?
Well, it's difficult to have a lot of stuff because, young folks go off and don't necessarily stay in touch with us. What we find is, some of those are turned 21, and that was the reason that they were leaving, because they had reached the age limit. And in some cases, the provider was going to let them continue staying with them at the provider expense, past that point. As you know, we're only statutorily authorized to pay for foster care and extended foster care up until the age that they either turn 21 for most of the options, or for up to the month they turn 22 if in high school. So we really can't statutorily allow them to stay beyond that, but some of the providers, sometimes are able to do that. What we find is that, a few people ended up going back to traditional extended foster care placements. Some did not want to meet the eligibility requirements. They wanted to do other stuff, and so they went off on their own. And of course, in our program, folks can decide to come back into care if they come back before they turn 21. As long as they were in our custody as they turned 18, if they leave, they can decide to come back. And we have had a few people do that, from S.I.L.P even, that they opted to, after a few months, to leave, and then several months later decided to come back. So it can vary with different kind of things. And we are trying to get a sense of what the situation is as folks leave the program. So far, those are the things that we've noted.
Okay.
They tend to have been most successful if they did finish high school either before they went into the S.I.L.P program or if they completed it while they were in the S.I.L.P program. That of the ones who seem to have what you might call a positive outcome, almost all had, had either finished high school before or during the program.
Oh, okay.
And the other thing is they had stayed in the program at least 5 months. The ones that only stayed a couple months, 2 or 3 months, generally tended to have, what you might say is poorer outcomes, so to speak. So, the ability to stay and work the program and finishing that high school piece, seems to be helpful to folks in working on their goals.
Great. So a lot of times it's about the young adult's ability to follow through with the program.
Correct.
Very good. Another question that came up is, this question is the medical condition waiver for S.I.L. education work requirements, is this the same as the disabling condition in HUD-PSH paperwork?
No. I mean, if I understand your question correctly, the requirements about working or being in school or voc tech kinds of programs, those are the federal eligibility requirements for being in extended foster care. And those are also the requirements in our Texas Family Code for being in extended foster care.
Okay. Okay.
Separate from disabling conditions. Now, if a person has a disabling condition and it prevents them from being able to do any of the activities, then that is an eligibility option in there.
Okay. Gotcha. So those are two separate pieces. Good to know. And then finally, the last question we have is, and then to both you guys as well, is if the youth is in a SLI program and that individual gets pregnant, are they disqualified from the program? So Larry, from a policy perspective, would they be disqualified from that program?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
The thing being, though, the S.I.L.P placements that we tend to have don't have all the supports that, say, a traditional foster family would. If a teen parent in a traditional foster home, got pregnant and was having a baby, the foster parents, are there to be helpful and that kind of thing. The S.I.L.P placements, they're really not set up to provide that kind of extra help that might be needed. So if folks, and if folks are pregnant in the S.I.L.P program, that they certainly are encouraged to have their support systems in place, and may need to think about move to a different type of program until after the baby comes. We do have people in the S.I.L.P program who do have babies. So I mean, like I say, in and of itself, it's not a prohibition, but it just gets into the kind of supports that the person's going to need as they actually get ready to deliver the baby.
Great. Yes, go ahead, Stephanie. I was going to get your feedback on that as well.
So for our program, absolutely not. They would not be disqualified. We have 2 moms right now with young children, and another one pending application who we're really hoping we'll be able to place here. And so if someone becomes pregnant, the only real thing we would have to do is just make sure that they have another bedroom in their apartment. So if they're living with a roommate, we would move them to their own 2-bedroom apartment, or if they're living in a 1-bedroom apartment, we would move them to a 2-bedroom apartment, or whatever we need to do, but absolutely not. They would not be disqualified. We can provide support for that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for answering those questions. And so I believe that's all the questions we have posted at this time. If you have another quick question, go ahead and go ahead and post it real quick, and I'll circle back around to you. However, I just want to mention that for next month, it's kind of funny. Next month I did have a topic planned, but been kind of got off track a little bit. So when I send out the follow-ups around this this piece, this Bloc talk that we're doing now, and you receive that email, the follow-up email, I'll make sure that we have the topic on there for you guys. So, but we are really trying to keep a youth perspective this spring as we kind of introduce these topics. So once more, I just wanted to say thank you very much to Stephanie and for Larry for being on the Bloc Talk today and giving us this perspective about SIL programs. And I will be, as I mentioned, we've recorded it, so I'll be sending this out to everybody. And Larry and Stephanie, I would think that you guys are going to get some emails and some questions so that we can bring more agencies on board with this and get this out across the state. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for presenting for us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure. Thank you for having us.
No problem. No problem. And everybody else, you can see the slide up there. Again, my information, Chris Lindenberger, the training manager / program specialist here at Texas Homeless Network, with my contact information, my phone number, and my email address. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or give me a phone call. And I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for joining us this month, and another successful time of just bringing you another glimpse of some best practices that are happening around the state of Texas and working with the homeless population, and specifically with our homeless youth that are out there right now. So I bid you farewell, and I will see you again on the last Tuesday of April. And be checking your email inboxes for my follow-up information along with the recorded presentation. So you guys have a great day and have a wonderful week. Thank you guys for attending.
Okay, thanks, Chris.